What is going on, guys? Extinction-Episode here, and I'm back with your another Survivor episode review. As we hit the third episode of Survivor Answering Station titled Betrayals Are Going to Get Exposed, and this was definitely a very interesting episode, and I definitely mean that in a good way. And of course, again, like my previous episode reviews, there will be spoilers. I'm going to in detail about what happens to episodes. You've been warned, but let's talk about the recent episode of Survivor Edge of Extinction. And so the beginning pretty much shows that Keith did accept I'm not going to Extinction and he is joined by Reem, where they end up finding this map, and then they end up finds all about rice, and we see them trying to explore different parts of the island to try to find more rice, which I thought was actually pretty interesting. At least it doesn't lead them like starving or anything, but it's kind of interesting to see them, especially after Keith kind of further out, but that's still interesting. And then the Victoria challenge, which kind of felt oddly rushed, honestly. It might be a little bit nitpick, but like, if he himself say, alright guys, go get more challenge, like, it felt just like, huh. I mean, the whole challenge was fun overall, it's just kind of hard, and you see Maggie finally winning the first challenge when they end up taking the chickens. They could chose that comfort, but they end up taking the chickens. And during the challenge, Wendy, the crazy blue hair girl, ended up getting a swollen ankle, because she ended up twisting it while doing the challenge, and now ankle's kind of swollen onto, but thankfully she didn't graduate for this episode. But then we see it kind of going crazy into wanting to release the chickens, which ends up causing girls crazy stuff. Like, we see, saying like, I want to feed chickens, like, I want to feed chickens, please don't eat the chickens in front of me, like, and all that stuff. And it pretty much annoyed pretty much everybody, really pretty much everybody, especially Kelly One with that bulldog. Like, man. And the other side, we see Jordan Arby still become big trunks because they're turning players. And we do get this great moment where Aubrey, for her third season, Aubrey finally finds out in the media assets, something that she's always wanted to do. And then we see her crying. Like, that was actually a pretty touching moment, I'm not gonna lie. And then we see a challenge, which go to the media challenge, which is basically kind of like a new challenge, where basically, based on the 4 times end up being on the boat. Well, 3 times end up on the boat, and 4 end up having to swim the boat, and then one time they end up having to climb up to get keys and all that, and then they end up finding bags full of keys and solve a puzzle. Like, for a while I thought Mario was actually going to win their first media challenge, but then they end up really struggling at the puzzle. Like, they really struggled, because the other tribe ended up winning the third media challenge in a row, sending Mario back to Tribal Council. And we see David still wanting to tell Woodward, and we see him comment saying, my Survivor's bias sense said we need to get Woodward, and I really thought it was going to be her and Wendy. Like, I said that it was going to be her and Wendy, and then Woodward could end up getting blindsided. But in true Survivor fashion, someone else I'm going to talk as, because I wanted to get out Chris as he was kind of suspicious of him wanting to talk to Wentworth. But as Chris, Wendy, David, and Rick were actually attempting trying to get rid of her this time. So something that, and Wendy wasn't even on, so it is going to be Chris or Wentworth, which I thought was actually kind of a weird transition, but that was still an interesting transition though, and then we also end up getting some hilarious moments at Drama Council, and some really funny moments with Wendy being the craziest about it and Wendy also end up taking the flight with them, and then so they can't go to the chickens. Like, oh my god, Wendy, like, I sure hate her, but I can't help it, honestly. Then we see Chris getting voted out by 5-2 vote, with pretty much everybody but with just him and Wendy voted for Wentworth, and everybody else voted for Chris. Well, listen, I don't know why. Part of me was kind of hoping that someone would get blindsided. Like, I do love Wentworth, but part of me was something that she could actually get blindsided. Well, that would have been interesting, but that's still great runs all around. And then we get a sneak peek where we see Wendy freeing the chickens, and we get the usual transition from 2 tribes to 3 tribes. Like, seeing how it is going, like, this is interesting. And now, like the second episode, now discussion, what are my overall thoughts on this episode? I actually thought, like second episode, I actually thought it was great, honestly. Like, there were a couple odd things about it, but there's more nitpicks than anything, honestly. But there are a lot of great things that happen in this episode. Like, we still got some good challenges, and Green Challenge is definitely one of the more interesting challenges of the season, and like, it is kind of a new challenge, so that was definitely one really good challenge overall. We still see a little more of what you expect from this tribe, and what to expect from here. of any contestants from later on. You know, we see Wendy kind of be like, Wendy is someone that I'm pretty sure has annoyed a lot. Has been like Wendy. I don't know. Like, I don't know how a lot of fans kind of feel about Wendy. I don't know if she's like annoying or whatever. But me, I found her to be hilarious. Honestly, like she's someone that has a shirt I hate. But I don't know. I just found her to be pretty hilarious, especially with her stealing the flicks. Like, oh man, that she was just so hilarious. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, and because the little more stuff on, like, we didn't see much of the other tribe, but we can just see enough of them to really interesting. So, and you also got this pretty good, and like I said, we got this pretty emotional moment where Aubrey ends up finding and hitting Amelia, which I thought was actually kind of emotional. I didn't cry or anything, but I actually really felt for Aubrey. I actually felt good. Despite being so up and down on Aubrey, I was definitely feel happy about that she ended up finding and hitting Amelia. Like, oh, nice. Yeah, and seems definitely trying to show a little bit of unpredictability. And stuff, I would say that match is not getting more into this Extinction thing. It's definitely stuff I'm coming a lot better than Legend Island, at least for me. Like, I don't know how people feel about this towards as a whole, but so far it has grabbed my interest. I mean, might seem like more of it, but it's definitely interesting trying to see how to survive for another chance in the game. And trying to see them go for and fight to get in the game. So, it is definitely an interesting twist. Like, I'm not sure I think how I fully feel it will depend on how it happens later on and how this is going to make in the game or whatever. But it definitely left me very interested, and I'm definitely curious to see where else this interesting goes in the future. It actually kept my interest, and so far I'm definitely loving it way more than what they did with Dutch on the two seasons they introduced it. Like, man. And it's starting to show a little bit of unpredictability in terms of trap councils. Like, I really thought it was going to be one with the Wendy Will might end up, but then it gets off to Chris, and then Wendy was just not. But then Wendy ended up not being part of the conversation, and Chris ended up getting brought. Like, I really didn't expect that, honestly. Like, you really can actually see it going either way. I kind of said I was kind of went, but looking back on it, you're like. The interesting about Trump upon Trump is that you can see votes going either way. You can see someone vote this way, you can see someone voting that way. Like, you really see someone voting the different ways that they're doing, and you can see why they voted Chris and why they voted Wentworth. Yeah, but again, this was an all-around great episode. Definitely enjoyed the season so far, and I'm very curious to see what else it goes in the future. A lot has to come interest. Hope we see some more someone in the future. But great episode. Next episode we get a Tribe Switch. Very excited to see where that goes. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed me discussing the latest episode review of Survivor and Extinction. If you of course have seen this episode, let me know down in the comments down below. Did you enjoy as much as I did, or read some of the fantasies, or the special Extinction twist? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I'll definitely have more episode reviews. I hope you all enjoyed these ones. I really had fun doing these episode reviews again. As always, thank you so much for watching. I honestly truly do appreciate it. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video, be sure to share, be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow all my social media sites, all linked in the description down below. I am Samuel from Extinction-Episode. I will see you next time, and stay cool out there. Peace.